The following program is sponsored in part by Media Design Imaging, Creative House Studios, Coco Bakery, Margaret Wong and Associates, Asia Services in Action, Neighborhood Connections, The Smile Dental, and Stream of Music, LLC. Did you know, according to Chinese legend, Tai Chi was created by a Taoist monk that was inspired when he watched a crane and a snake do battle?
Hello, I'm Huili Shi, Vice President of Education and Culture for OCA Greater Cleveland Chapter. OCA is a national nonprofit, nonpartisan civil rights and educational organization headquartered in Washington, D.C., with over 84 chapters and affiliates within the United States. We are dedicated to promoting cultural heritage, active participation in civic and community affairs, securing justice and equal treatment and equal opportunity for all Americans of Asian Pacific Island descent. OCA Image TV is Cleveland's outreach initiative to promote cultural diversity, reaching over 928,000 households in Northeast Ohio. For today's episode, let me introduce our hosts, Yi Huan and Melissa Sun. I'll let them take over from here. Thank you very much.
Welcome to another great episode of OCA Image TV.
This episode is all about Asian Pacific Americans' healthcare and concerns. Today, many Asian Americans still choose traditional Asian medical treatments when they're ill. They believe it's more effective in treating flu, allergies, and other chronic ailments. It's often less expensive as well.
Asian medicine is based upon careful study of the earth, the body, and the cosmos. In China, traditional medicine has been around for 1,000 years. Treatment includes herbal medicines and acupuncture. Movement programs such as Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga are also popular.
The traditional Japanese medicine, called Kampo, is based on herbs. In the United States, most herbal medicines are available over the counter, while the Japanese consider them drugs. They're sold in pharmacies, and the government regulates their growth and manufacture.
Ayurveda is the traditional medicine of India. In Sanskrit, it literally means life science. It stresses balance through herbs, massage, surgery, and yoga.
Eastern medicine is gaining popularity in the West every day. The Cleveland Clinic now offers alternative therapies such as acupuncture for pain, meditation, guided imagery, and other relaxation therapies. In a moment, we'll talk to some medical professionals who explain these therapies in more detail.
Did you know, in China, 10 million people practice some type of Tai Chi daily, suggesting that it's one of the most popular forms of exercise in the world. Creative House Studios. Did you know the yoga technique Pranayama that focuses on external and internal breathing is meant to extend a person's life force?
Joining me now is Dr. Shen Wen Jin, board-certified internist from Cleveland Clinic's Department of Internal Medicine, and Dr. Philip Belzun, a psychologist and naturopath who focuses on the body, mind, and spirit. They're here to talk about the major health concerns of our community and various ways to treat them. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Dr. Jin, we'll start with you. In your experience, what is the unique aspect of treating the Asian patient?
Well, in many ways, treating Asian patient is no different from treating any other patients in terms of having mutual respect, making the diagnosis, asking the patient about their views of their illness, and negotiating a treatment plan. However, the Asian patients that I have encountered over the years at the Cleveland Clinic in my practice is a group of individuals with multi-ethnic, multicultural background. And their cultural background do influence their health beliefs and the practices in their daily lives. Let me give you an example. Coin rubbing is a very commonly used healing techniques in East Asian population. And it is believed to have the coin rubbing the skin produce bruise and will release certain toxins that is causing the illness. However, the bruises that produced by this technique is often symmetrical and linear in distribution, and sometimes will mislead the physician to suspect a form of physical abuse if the physician is unaware of this cultural practices. So therefore you can see it is very important for the physician taking care of Asian patients have certain degree of a cultural awareness.
So you're saying that when a Asian patient who may have had one of those treatments go see a doctor, that it's important for them to share that information with their physician?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. So what are the main medical problems or diseases that might affect the Asian population?
Well, I'm so glad you asked this question. Indeed, there are some diseases are more common in Asian Americans. Let me give you a first example, a condition called lactose intolerance. A patient would have abdominal pain, diarrhea, after eating dairy product. Similarly, chronic hepatitis B infection or liver cancer is more common in Asian Americans. And the last but not the least, stomach cancer. The incidence has declined over the years globally, however, remains high in Asian population.
That's interesting. So why is it that those diseases are more prominent in Asians than other ethnicities?
Well, obviously, this is a multifactorial. There are genetic differences.
Okay.
There are epidemiological differences. It is unclear why a certain disease it is more prevalent in a particular population. However, this is what we have learned over the years through medical practices.
And we know that, Asian is a very big word. It could be Chinese, Japanese, Indian. Is it more prominent in all Asians, or is it just certain groups?
Well, for example, stomach cancer is more prevalent in Chinese, Japanese, Korean Americans.
What would you recommend to the Asian patients now that they know this information?
In Asian patients, there are some conditions or issues that is specific for the Asian population. For example, the increased sensitivity to medications. One of the commonly used blood pressure medicine called a beta blocker. Oftentimes, Asian patients require much less dosage than the Caucasian counterpart due to the fact that their increased sensitivity, more likely having unwanted side effects. And one more thing I think it's worth mentioning is increased vulnerability to the mental illness, such as major depression. And the negative cultural beliefs about the mental illness often prevent the patients from seeking medical care. Additionally, the lack of understanding of the confidentiality may even prevent the patient from revealing important family history, clinical information to their physician, which is critical in their care.
That's interesting.
And coming back to your question about what do we do about it, foremost important thing I would recommend any Asian patient will establish a trusting relationship with a physician of their choice so that you can have a full confidence in your doctor, and followed the recommendation from the United States Preventive Task Force to have annual physical exam, immunization, and age-appropriate cancer screening such as mammography, pap smear, colonoscopy, etc. And lastly, make sure that you let your doctor know if any alternative homeopathic remedy that you're using, you let your doctor know and discuss about it.
Okay.
hopefully those suggestions are helpful to our viewers.
I certainly hope so, yeah.
So what are some of your views on alternative medicines, on common ailments?
Well, I'm certainly not an expert in this area. My personal view on alternative medicine is that I think this is an emerging, exciting field. There are a lot of emergent evidence supporting the use of acupuncture, for example, in treating chronic nausea, vomiting, especially related to pregnancy and chemotherapy treatment for cancer patients. And NIH has concluded, in the hands of experienced practitioner, this is very effective to treat these conditions, as well as controlling certain types of pains.
You know, I know somebody who had really bad back pain, and this person was talking to me about acupuncture. He went to Asia and said, I get it, I go there once a year, get it done to my back, and I can walk.
Well, as Vi mentioned before, this is increasingly gaining popularity in the Western medicine in the United States.
Dr. Belzoon, since you're an expert on holistic medicine, can you tell us a little more about some of these alternative therapies?
Right. Thank you for asking the question. One thing about beautiful Asia, I come from the Philippines and my great-grandfather was Chinese, is we like to tell stories. We tell stories and we laugh. And that's, I think, Dr. Jen was saying about the rapport is very important with the patient. Trust building is important. And so as a psychologist, my training as a psychologist, I usually bring the whole family in, not only one person, the patient, so that I see the dynamics. And then we tell stories. And the story that I like to tell would be, if you put a frog in a boiling water, the frog jumps out of the boiling water. There's an immediate reaction. But if you put the frog in a tepid water and then you increase the heat and eventually the water starts to boil, but the frog doesn't jump out. It gets acclimatized to the heat and then eventually it breaks down. And that's exactly how our society is. It's like us Asian or anybody who is in a boiling water, so to speak, in our society, full of stress because our society speed, go. And the problem with the stress is that our adrenals on top of our kidneys are very small, size of the thumbs, and they produce a lot of adrenaline. And so stress means the person perceives reality, either it's real or imagined. It creates stress, and then it goes to the brain. The brain interprets the situation as danger, runs to the sympathetic nervous system, then we produce adrenaline. And adrenaline is there to give us all the energy either to fight, flight, or freeze. And if this is constant, if we are always in the boiling, stressful situation, it affects the organs of the body. And so, go ahead.
No, so if you get into that stressed out state, what can you do to kind of bring you back down to equilibrium? Remember this? Could you do this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
the yin and the yang. And the acupuncturist is going to talk more about the yin and the yang because it's the question of balance. Because we become sick if we have too much yang, too little yin, or too much yin. So every organ has a yin yang. It's a question of balancing. We have night, day, we have sun, moon, left, right. So the idea is to constantly balance that. If we are overbalanced in one area, we get sick. So same thing with our organs. So what I check out is what are the areas of the system, because this is all integrated. The organs, the heart relates to the lungs relate to the kidneys and so on. What areas that is deficient in energy. And so I do a meridian check using the pathways of the fingers, which are very sensitive to the meridian pathways. And I don't do guessing games. I try to give the right herb. And that's why one of my objections, and Dr. Jen agrees with me, that you cannot just take any herb or any medicine unless you are assessed well.
Sure.
And part of my assessment, as I mentioned to you, is I look at the eyes. The iridology is a 3,000-year-old from China. It originated from China. It's the study of the different organs in the eyes, that what are the deficient, and you could see it because our eyes are the windows of the soul.
Oh, are you saying that you just look at the eyeball and then can you tell from just looking at it, or you have to really examine in
It's the iris of the eyes, and sometimes I use a camera and to get a picture, enlarge the picture, and see, because the different parts of the iris represent the different organs of the body.
Oh, that's
And I love it because it started from China 3,000 years ago. The Egyptians used it, and it got sort of developed in Germany, and now it's speaking of speed here in the States.
It sort of reminds me of reflexology, the one on the foot. I guess like the big toe would be the head or something. Is it something similar like that?
Well, the reflexology is basically the meridian points, like this is the head, the lungs. They represent the different organs in the body, so that when you touch them, it's called reflexology, because when you touch them, if you touch the lung area, somehow it affects the lung area. And the beauty about Chinese medicine is like every organ has emotions. So being a psychologist, when I work with patients, I get in touch what are the basic emotions, because our emotions are who we are.
Oh, yes.
And the beauty of, like, the liver is anger, the lungs would be depression, the kidneys would be fear. And so what's the emotions that in touch with the physical manifestation that is we call illness or disease.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So with all these different diagnostic techniques, how do you know which one to use for what patient?
Well, again, as I said, I check out with I check the eyes, I check the tongue, I check the pulse and all the stuff, and then find out what is best for the patient.
Okay.
And then I always work with the medical doctor. If they're seeing a medical doctor, I always work with them so that we are in conjunction. I work with a team of medical doctors, and then we talk on the phone so that the herbs and medication do not negatively interact with one another.
Okay. Wow, that's very interesting. So, Dr. Jin, in your practice, what about patients who come with these alternative therapies? Are they, do they usually share the information with you, or?
Well, sometimes they do volunteer those informations, but sometimes they don't consider that is important, so we have to ask.
Okay. And do a lot of your patients see both of them?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, Dr. Belzoon, Dr. Jin, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you today.
This is Ken Lee, National President, and I just want to make a push out there to tell everybody to join OCA, and just hearing joining OCA is probably not enough. Why join OCA? And I think the most important piece of joining OCA is to be a member of an organization, an Asian advocacy organization that helps those out there who may be less fortunate or not have a voice. A good example is where we made statements, talked about why maybe a young lady who was born in America is an honor student and was suspended just because she didn't want to take the test. We need to stop those type of things, and that's what OCA does for us. It's an organization also to help formulate issues to improve our well-being in the future, embracing our hopes and aspirations of Asian Pacific Americans, which is our tagline. And being part of it is just a big plus for all of us, so that you can get information, whether it's from the mentoring programs we put together, or just a convention, or a new exciting young professionals program we're putting together. It's a organization to join that's going to be part of the fabric of America in the future for Asians.
Welcome back to OCA Image TV's episode on health and wellness. We're here with Dr. Philip Belzoon to demonstrate Tai Chi. Tai Chi is an eternal Chinese martial art, often practiced for health and longevity reasons. Many of you perhaps have seen it. There's typically a group of people doing slow motion routines together every morning in parks around the world, particularly in China. Most modern styles of Tai Chi trace their development to at least one of the 5 traditional schools: Chen, Yang, Wu Hao, Wu, and Sun. The origins and creation of Tai Chi are a subject of much argument and speculation. However, the oldest documented tradition is that of the Chen family from the 1820s. So how can Tai Chi benefit us?
Thank you for asking, Melissa. Thank you for inviting me. The secret of Tai Chi is not the movement. The secret of Tai Chi is 1 or 2 inches below the navel. It's what we call dantian in Chinese, and that's where the power is. So in martial arts, if you notice, they get the power not from the muscles, but from the dantian. So Tai Chi is a moving meditation it's not the hands, it's the dantian moving the body. And so the misconception, if you don't know Tai Chi, is that you're moving your hands. You could do that as a dance, but in Tai Chi, the power moves the hand, the legs, and the movement are based on animals, like the crane, etc. The Shaolin priest that started the moving meditation, they call it martial arts, as you said, it was more of to protect themselves from the invaders invading their temples. But the idea is that they wanted to put the yin in the yang. Yang is the martial arts, yin is the slow moving,
The relaxation.
the meditation, getting in touch with your inner power. Because in our world today, because of the stress, the idea is to get centered. And the way to get centered is to bend your knees,
Oh yes, I need to do this.
bend your knees, and then move from your pelvic, from your dantian. Okay, so the one that I taught you earlier, let's do the simple one.
Yes, simple
And the
first.
idea is that to gather the energy
Yes.
is to center oneself, bend your knees, shoulder width, inhale into your dantian. Once we harness the power of the dantian, you can heal people by touch. That's why acupuncture is a way of healing people. Touch, reflexology, is like you gather your energy from the dantian. And so it's not only the moving, but it's also a healing power.
Oh yes.
So let's try centering. Okay, let's move, inhale, and it goes with the breathing. Exhale.
So you have to inhale very slowly and exhale very heavily.
It synchronizes with the movement because we are an integrated system. It's a way of centering from the top, they call it the chakras in China, in India, all the way to the dantian. And if you notice, you begin to become calmer as you do this. This is Qigong. Qigong is harnessing the energy in the different parts of our body. The heart center. It's not the hands moving, it's the pelvic moving, it's the dantian moving. That's where the energy is.
It makes you want to dance.
Well, that's the offshoot or the side effects of doing Tai Chi. It's like you feel like moving and dancing, but the movement comes from the center.
Oh.
Another movement would be from here. You're grounding yourself. Because as we talked earlier, reflexology or the end of the meridians are very much grounded into our feet. It's no accident that we call the bottom of our feet soles, S-O-L-E-S,
Soul.
or S-O-U-L. That's the
Soles.
soul, in touch with Mother Earth. Because before all this ecology happened, the Chinese was very close to nature. And so Tai Chi is a form of getting close to nature.
Yes, that's why they're like named after animals and
Exactly.
herbal medicines.
And so let's do centering this way.
So I see that as like non-strenuous and very slow. It's like stretching. But do you have to stretch before doing these movements?
That helps. That helps because you need to be limber. Because the more you can exercise and let the energy flow from the feet all the way, all the pathways of the meridians. Okay, so do it this way.
So what is this called?
This
is this a
called
movement you're called?
circling. Circling the globe. And circling. And so the idea is to eventually go this way, connecting the heavens and the earth. And then you gather energy. Exactly, you connect. You gather energy into your center. And this is the way we end, is to focus your energy, feeling grounded in your dantian, and relax.
Well, I feel very relaxed now. Thank you so much, Dr. Philip Van Zoon. Oh, thank you.
Did you know scientists have found 16 of 71 Asian-tested herbs to be highly active against breast cancer cell growth?
Earlier, we touched on the topic of acupuncture. It's an ancient Chinese medical technique using tiny needles placed in strategic places on the patient's body to treat a variety of conditions, from infertility to chronic pain. In the United States, acupuncture training programs take 3 to 4 years to complete. There's also a national certification test students must pass. Joining us now is Cleveland-based acupuncturist Dr. Wen-Ning Zhao. Dr. Zhao is a board-certified acupuncturist in the state of Ohio and a nationally certified diplomate in acupuncture. He graduated from medical school in China and earned his doctorate in chiropractic in the United States. Dr. Zhao is skilled in auricular acupuncture, Korean hand acupuncture, and traditional Chinese acupuncture. Dr. Zhao, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, what are some of the common conditions that patients get acupuncture for?
By Chinese literature, there's over 300 different conditions can be treated by the Chinese acupuncture. Basic theory of Chinese acupuncture is open up a flow of energy in the body, make all the channel of energy open, harmonize all the conditions so the body performs function better. Any problem could be caused by blockage or sluggish or stagnation of energy. So if we use small needle, open up, stimulate, like open your pipe, energy pipe, then your body may perform function. It helps all the problems you may have.
So we have our patient here, Cynthia, who has chronic neck pain and some headaches, and I think it limits her arm motion as well. So Dr. Zhao, you mind demonstrating acupuncture on her?
Okay, first of all, we need to check the patient, which we have did. Then use alcohol clean the skin. And now I put the needle, follow the meridian. You know, she has may have some sluggish or blockage, and open up. So needle is very small, almost like a hair. Normally don't cause too much pain. I'll put the one here. Okay, anything?
I feel some energy, some tightness on it.
Good. So I'll put another one.
So
this needle is a tube guided needle.
Okay.
It's very fine.
So how do you know how far to stick it in?
It varies, depending on the area I stimulate. Certain kind of area can go deep, like some big muscle area. Some area, like a ear, I only go barely past the skin. Yeah. People have some sensation, stimulated sensation, that's it. I just go that far.
So how many treatments would patients need before they start seeing some beneficial effects?
It varies by the condition. If a simple condition, very short course, couple of times should be cleared. Some in a difficult condition, chronic condition, may take a lot of time.
Do patients typically come with you for the more chronic stuff or the more acute stuff? It's all over.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, could be different. Yeah.
You're putting needles like all over the place. Like how do you know where to put the needles?
It's based on the meridians, where this problem comes from, which meridian. I choose to follow the meridian, follow the local point.
So Cynthia, still feeling it? You feel anything now?
It doesn't, you can't tell there's needles there.
Wow. And are there side effects from acupuncture?
Basically, I don't see too much side effect. Occasionally, if certain kind of people are too nervous, maybe feel a little bit, pain or something, discomfort. Occasionally, if we stimulate a certain kind of area, they have a small vein, say cup of blood, couple drop of blood come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Zhao, for showing us this acupuncture demonstration. We're very fortunate to live in a community that offers such a wide range of medical providers and services. We hope you've learned some new facts that will help you in making your healthcare decisions.
We hope you have enjoyed our programming. Please continue to support our effort. This is our community, and this is your voice. The show will also be available online at OCAGC.org and iTunes for free downloads. I'm Melissa Suin.
And I'm Vi Huan. See you next time.
Did you know shiatsu, an Asian pressure massage, has been known to release physical and emotional discomforts that block the flow of energy? Shiatsu reduces muscle tension, promotes healthy functioning of all organs, relieves fatigue, and stimulates one's natural healing abilities.